Hello everyone, this is Jen Kiaba, and today I am doing a quick check-in mid-week 1 of our licensing challenge. So what I promised you at the end of video 1 was to let you know which images had been accepted and which had not. So at this point, the way that my workflow works is that I submit my images to Trevelyan first because they are my agency of choice, and then if there are images that I can submit to Archangel, I will submit those. And I think that this is a really good opportunity for you to see what can and cannot be submitted to Archangel, because so in my last submission, I ganged up some fine art prints and a couple of different shoots. So I submitted over 70 images to Trevelyan and only a few of them were accepted. So I would say Trevelyan maybe accepts about 10% of my work. That's how incredibly picky they are. But at the same time, you know, the reason that they're my agency of choice is because when they do pick work, it tends to sell. So that's why they get my work first. And then if there's anything, like I said, that I can submit to Archangel, I will. Now, let me dive a little bit more into what I mean by what I can submit. So what I have here is a collection, again, of fine art prints. These are all very diverse, so if one of them didn't get accepted, it's not like another one cannot be submitted. However, what I also have here are shoots with what we would call similars, right? So these 3 images, for example, are very similar to one another. Actually, these 5 here. So let's say Trevelyan accepted one of them, which they did. I think it was this one that they accepted. I cannot now go and submit this one or this one or this one or this one to Archangel because they look so similar. Let's say an author picks this book from or this image for a book from Trevelyan. Well, if another one picks this one from Archangel, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, this is like almost the exact same image. You just simply cannot do that. That's why it's really important to stay on top of what you're submitting to which agencies, and that's why we're having this conversation today. So, interestingly, the same thing kind of happened here too. So one thing I mentioned in video 1 is that I haven't done self-portraits for a little while. And so I was a little bit rusty. There's not a lot of diversity here. In my course Uncovered, which we'll talk about throughout this challenge, one of the things that I talk about is shooting for diversity. And this is a perfect example of maybe not getting enough diversity within a shoot. So in this particular shoot, I probably shot, I don't know, 50 to 60 images, and they were all very similar. So what happened is that Trevelyan picked 3 images. They picked this one, they picked, I think, this one, and then they picked this one. So what I'm left with here is not a lot of opportunity to be able to submit others to Archangel. So what I look at this shoot as is, okay, this is a Trevelyan shoot, and hopefully these images sell, but there's really nothing else here that I look at and say, you know what, this is diverse enough that if I submit this image or this image to Archangel, it's going to be okay. Some people will do that. You'll see images that are very close to one another across the portfolios, and that's created problems in the past. So what I try to do is just stay away from it. I mean, I could probably, this lovely cleavage shot here, I could probably get away with submitting that. I might be able to get away with submitting this, but you know what, at this point, I'm just not gonna do it. So this is a really good lesson, again, in terms of what can we do to shoot for diversity. So in that behind the scenes, you saw me posing on a stool. I was just kind of moving around a little bit, trying to get back into the flow of doing self-portraits like this. And really, it's, I think that if I changed my lenses, if I changed the perspective of where the camera was shooting me from, it would have helped create a lot more diversity. Now moving on, none of these images here got accepted by Trevelyan. They rejected them all outright, which is okay because that means that I'm now going to take all of this over here and I am going to submit that to Archangel. So I'm going to take you into another folder really quickly. This is Zenfolio, by the way. This is the platform that my photography website is built on. So they let you do galleries and collections, and this is how I try to keep on top of what has been accepted and what hasn't. So here, this is basically a dump of everything that I have submitted on this date, and then this is a collection of everything that was accepted. So as you can see, what I've started to do, and this isn't the full piece yet, but I've started to pull images from here into this particular collection here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back over here, and I know that Trevelyan accepted this. Whoops. They accepted this image, this image, this image, and that one, which I had already put into the other folder. So I go over here to Actions, Add to Collection, and then I add it to this accepted collection here, and I think that's everything. I think there was only like 7 or 8 images that were accepted. So yeah, this is a pretty good, okay, 8. This is a pretty good example of what it's like working with an agency. There is always inherent rejection that comes with it. I've definitely submitted stuff to Trevelyan before and have them say, sorry, none of this works. In which case it all goes to Archangel, and then they'll cull through it and then decide if there's anything there that works for them as well. So if you have any questions about this week's challenge, about what gets accepted and what doesn't, and how you can go about maybe submitting to another agency with images that were not accepted, let me know. Pop over into the group or email me, and I will try to answer your question as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching. Bye.